As healthcare continues to advance, diseases aren't far behind. It's important for healthcare providers to know the essentials to keeping themselves as well as their patients and their residents safe and healthy. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to correctly don, which means to put on, and doff, which means to take off, personal protective equipment. It is seemingly important that healthcare providers know the correct steps to not contract or spread diseases to themselves or their other patients. I myself am studying skills to keep up to date after just receiving my CNA license. The following is how to don and doff PPE. Step number 1, you're going to want to remove your watch and all your jewelry and roll up your uniform sleeves. Step 2, you're going to wash your hands. So nurses have certain ways they're supposed to wash your hands. So first you're going to turn on your water and make sure that it's warm, not too hot, not too cold. You're going to rinse your hands, and then you're going to get the soap your hands for 15 seconds. You're going to lather, and then for 20 seconds you're going to wash. So you got to wash all surfaces, the backs of your hands, in between your fingers, on the sides of your thumbs, up to your wrists. And then you're going to clean under your fingernails. You can have the choice to use an orange stick, and if you do that, you have to make sure you dispose of it in the sharps container once you're finished. And then after that's done, you're going to rinse one hand at a time. Then you're going to get a paper towel and dab dry from the wrist to the fingertips. Dispose of that one, get another one, do the same thing on the other hand, dispose of that one. Get another one to turn off one side of the sink, and then another one to do the same to the other. You have to make sure that your uniform doesn't touch the sink and that your hands don't touch any surfaces on the sink. Step number 3, you're going to want to take a clean gown and hold it out in front of you, making sure that you don't shake or do anything like that to the gown, because that can cause airborne pathogens to get in the gown, causing it to be contaminated. You're going to start by putting your hands and arms through the gown, making sure that it overlaps in the back. And the first tie that you're going to tie would be the neck strings, but since I don't have the actual gown, I don't have neck strings. So you got to make sure that it snugly fits around the back of your uniform, and then you'll tie the bottom strings. And then after that, if the gown doesn't cover the back, you'd have to make sure that you get another gown to cover the back. You can also tie the strings at the sides, but just never in the front. Step number 7, you're going to put on your disposable gloves, and in a literal sense, they would cover the cuffs, but since my cuffs are too big, they don't. Then after you get your gloves on is when you go to provide care, and nurses don't always have to wear the gown. Gloves are pretty much a must because, dealing with the mouth or blood, you don't want to get it on you because you don't want to contract it to yourself. But the gowns are normally used if there's going to be blood splashing or any kind of bodily fluids coming towards you to get on your uniform, because you don't want to go provide care to another resident and then cause it to get to them and it be some kind of infectious disease. So then you move on to step number 8, which is where you're going to remove your gloves. So you're going to grasp one of them right here and pull it out and make a fist with it. And then you're going to take right below the cuff on this one and make a little bag for your gloves, and you're going to dispose of them. Then you're going to, after you discard the gloves, you're going to untie the neck and waist strings and start removing your gown from the shoulders, making sure that you roll it away from you and never towards you, because you don't want to get anything that's on it on your uniform. You roll it away like so, and then you would discard of it. And then after that, you would perform hand hygiene again. So you do the same thing as you did when we first started. Okay. Now that you know the correct way to don and doff personal protective equipment, it can be useful if you or someone you know pursues the career or the profession that this is used in. It can also be helpful to give nurses a chuckle if you start naming the steps as they go.